that everybody is having a wonderful, spectacular, fabulous, amazing, all of those blissful, peaceful day. All of those great things, all of those great energies. Even if your day is getting off to a little bit of a rocky start, I hope that you guys experience just blessings and peace throughout the day. If you are new here, my name is Nia, aka BLegend. I am the owner and founder of BLegendBotanica, and if you are returning, then welcome back. You already know what's going on. So I just wanted to hop in today, and give you guys a quick reading. I did already pull some cards while I was praying before I came on, just to have an idea of what I was going to be talking about. So I'll just go ahead and hop into the message. I know last time we were talking about avoiding deception, and just being able to trust your own intuition, being in these new communities. And one thing that I've learned, you guys know I study patterns like over time. Granted, I wasn't really able to pick up on patterns, especially, well, really for myself, I wasn't able to pick up on them until I turned 23. And then during my 23rd revolution around the sun, I was able to start like picking up on things and say like, oh, I've seen this before, like this is similar, like all the things. So one thing that I've learned about entering new communities, right, especially if you've been through or experienced a lot of like tumultuous situations or turmoil in the past from people that you loved and trusted, when you enter into these new communities, it's kind of two different ways that you feel. Number one, you really immerse yourself into this community. Everything is new. You're not necessarily looking for the bad things, right? You're more so like you're happy to be there, you're excited. It's just very much like youthful, very much like just chipper, like you just not in a way like naivety, but I don't feel like it's blind naivety. I feel like you guys kind of go into it, and I feel like a lot of people do this, but especially in the legend community, you guys might go into it being naive on purpose because you don't want to have to deal with any conflict in a new, space. You're like, I moved away from all these things to avoid all these things, so why would I, come here and start looking for it, That's one thing, or that's one way that we can react to being in new communities. Another way that we can react to being in new communities, we can become untrusting, right? So that can be, it's usually after the first time you start to see something where it's like, don't like that. Like, seen this before. That's not really my vibes. You know what I'm saying? You start to see more of that naturally because you noticed it once in this new community. So now the things that that made you feel untrustworthy in the first place, they honestly become more prevalent because you're starting to be more aware about how this community moves. And when things like that happen, there tends to be it's almost like your body starts to grasp for what's familiar, right? So even if you aren't necessarily moving towards or going back to the most tumultuous relationships in your life, you're still grasping for aspects and elements that feel familiar because now you're in a new space, and the new space isn't even as comfortable as you had imagined in the first place. I think that's just human nature, to be honest. But that's like the revolving, that's what this message, this tarot reading is revolving around. It's about grasping onto familiarity because the newness in this community that you're presently in isn't meeting the needs that you thought it would meet. It isn't that ideal space that you assume that it would be. Like the video, guys. It's a lot of people in the chat. Shout out chat. Like the video if it's resonating with you, and subscribe to the channel just so we can, get through all the YouTube algorithm things. But this message is really revolving around things of the past. So we have the Six of Cups, memories of love, right? and grasping for those things, because in this new environment that you put yourself in, you might feel trapped in fear, right? There might be a certain feeling of feeling like trapped or stuck, because usually when we get involved into these new communities, it's either difficult to leave because you've started to make other new relationships that you don't necessarily want to get rid of, or you kind of think that moving on to something else might be worse. You know, like granted, you thought that this space would be everything that you dreamed of. However, you're starting to see the cracks in the foundation. So there's a tendency to be nervous and scared to move on, because it's like, well, what if I move on and that's worse? Or what if I move on and that thing or that place or that person is just like this one or worse? Then I might as well stay here, right? So it's kind of giving like that settling energy. Spirit is asking you to maintain this long-term vision. Yeah, Freddie, that's definitely hard. I've been a part of a few cults. One was a job, and I think the one that was a job was the hardest for me to leave, because of all of the rhetoric and the indoctrination that goes into that. You almost feel like you're going to lose your livelihood, and to a certain extent, when you're in a group like a cult, they kind of reform your identity and make you think that you're a different person, because they start instilling all of these different ideas and practices and ideologies that that you honestly might not have subscribed to in the past. But the way that they phrase it and the way that they frame it and the relationships that you start to build, I totally understand. But here Spirit is asking you, first of all, they're saying that the groups that you're a part of, the ideology that you are experiencing over and over is blocking your third eye chakra. This is a third eye card, okay? Granted, this card is blue, which is also making me think about the throat chakra, and I'm wearing my little blue wrap too. Yeah, they definitely gaslight you. That's how they keep you there, for sure, you know. And that's how they keep you, not only how they keep you there, but that's how they keep your mind attached to them. Oh my god, I wish you guys could see. It's like a flock, oh my god, it's huge, of black birds just flying across my my patio window. But Spirit is saying that all of this rhetoric and all of these thoughts, right? Because when we're in these groups, we start to replay these narratives and these thoughts back to ourselves. And after a while, we start to think that they're theirs. We start to internalize their rhetoric, their ideology as our own, and we start to hold ourselves to standards that we really don't even necessarily believe in, right? Things that we didn't subscribe to before we got into these groups. But since you got into this group, you feel like you're starting to see different aspects of yourself, when you're really just reenacting somebody else's narrative for you, right? Spirit is saying this is blocking your third eye chakra, but more importantly, is blocking your ability to see the bigger vision, like see long term, right? Long term, there's really no such thing as stuck. We always move and change, you know, whether that's jobs or relationships. Even within like the mother-child, father-child dynamic, there's a lot of movement in that. There's a lot of change. There's a lot of evolution. So movement and change is not really something that we can rid ourselves of as humans. That's literally a part of human nature. But because you're in this group and because you're replaying this type of rhetoric to yourself, is not only blocking your third eye chakra, but it's also blocking your solar plexus. Spirit says it's not blocking your solar plexus, but it's congesting your solar plexus. Is congesting your body and making you don't have the capacity to you don't have room to express yourself. Like truly, you don't have room to express your true authenticity. So Spirit is saying just not be weary, but be cognizant of the ways that these groups are having you to almost give up or sacrifice different aspects of yourself that you would not have done otherwise, which then has you going and grasping for things of the past, because what's going on, it might not feel like super traumatic, but to your body, you're like repeating things that in a way your body is like, oh, I hate this, like I ran away from this back in 2016, you know, I thought we left this back in 2020, I thought we ended this in 2022, right? A lot of things that we're seeing now are also very, very similar to 2023. The things that we were working on overcoming. So Spirit is saying the last thing that you want to do here is to go backwards, you know, even if it doesn't necessarily feel like you're going backwards, because you might feel like, oh, well, what I'm experiencing right now is worse. But to you, it's almost like you can't mix bad and expect to get any good out of that, you know. It's like if you have two people that are actively working on their shadow, and for whatever reason their healing is synced up at the peak times of doing that shadow work, you're not like the easiest person to be around. The people, and I know this tribe, we do a lot of shadow work, so you guys know what I'm talking about. When you are expelling yourself of things that are not favorable, of frequencies that are not, you know, socially desirable to other people or to yourself, to your body for that matter, fuck other people, right? My finger just, yeah, it's not even, Spirit is saying this is a self journey. But when you have the two people that are both expelling and releasing really negative energies, if they were to come together during the peak time of that expelling, expect some turmoil. These could be the best people in the world, you know. I don't have other words but God and Jesus in the Bible. Oh God, I don't have other characters to use as a comparison, but in the Bible, God was extremely vengeful at times, you know, when he decided that he didn't like whatever was going on earth with his people, extremely vengeful, right? We used to sing this song about when Jesus went into Sodom and Gomorrah at my church. You made my house a den of thee, where Jesus came and was just wrecking everything, throwing over tables, like just causing a whole scene. Those two archetypes, when they come together, there's no way that a storm is not going to show up, you know, even if that's father and son, right? Or two different sides of the same coin for that matter. So Spirit is just saying, they want you to think about the future more often, and they want you to dream and create your own future more often. Think about what you want that to look like in your meditations. And I know sometimes that can be difficult because we do all this meditation and we do all of this dream work and we do all of this scripting and manifestation, and you know, some things, they do come out in reality the exact way that you envisioned it, but a lot of things don't. Sometimes things look almost completely differently, still favorable, but just not exactly what you expected. Sometimes we ask for things and it's not at all what you expected, and it does come with quite a bit of difficulties, right? But Spirit is saying we got balance upside down here. Talk to me about this balance upside down. They don't want you to give up on your dreams. They don't want you to stop dreaming. They don't want you to stop hoping. They don't want you to settle. Hope. There's hope. If you guys haven't heard or haven't listened to There's Hope by India Ari in quite a while, or if you've never heard it at all, I would encourage you to go listen to India Ari. There's Hope. She says, it doesn't cost a thing to smile. You don't have to pay to laugh. You better thank God for that. And I know we talk about gratefulness all the time, and some of you guys are just like, I understand how it can be difficult to be grateful when you feel like, okay, I'm low-key not living out. I'm not living out the things that I thought that I would be living out by this age or at this time. So honestly, yes, I can be grateful for the things that I have, but is that also denying the things that I want? No, it's not denying the things that you want, but it is acknowledging your progress, because at the end of the day, the things that you have, that means something. So you should give yourself credit for that. Like, you should give yourself credit for the work that you've done to make the progress that you have, to have the things that you do, even if they didn't necessarily come from you, even if they were gifts. You don't always have to use your bootstraps. I hate that ugly ass American ideology of like pulling yourself up from your bootstraps, even if it didn't come from you, if it was a gift. Like, we should express gratefulness for those things. And honestly, guys, I know we want other things and we want better for ourselves, but a part of getting to that bigger vision is literally being grateful. And I see a silver car passing right now, which is telling me about self-esteem. That's going to increase your self-esteem and your confidence to get there in the first place, because the more that you ruminate on the things that you don't have, that's going to be the main focus. So you're going to start noticing more and more and more things that you don't have and that you don't like. Sorry, my cat was over there sneezing. I'm like, are you okay? Like, are you good? You good, bro? Oh, she playing with her damn ball. But this wasn't a super long message. It's literally just about, yeah, we have prosperity begins. Your true look at this. True prosperity does begin with gratefulness and balance. Also recognizing the rhetoric, again, the rhetoric that we replay in our heads, right? Whose story is that? Is that your story, or are you repeating something from somebody that doesn't want you to be in the spot that you are? They want you to be somewhere else. They want you to be working on something else. They want you to be working on their vision and not yours. So distracting you by putting all of these tasks and all of these responsibilities and all of these narratives that you don't even subscribe to. Wow, somebody is speaking about me, honey. And you guys might be feeling that too. You might be intuitively picking up that people aren't liking what you're doing, or people aren't you know, supporting you in your bit. I know we have a lot of business owners in the tribe. People aren't supporting you in your business, but they're in your face giving you other tasks. Like, it's like they don't want you to focus on what you're doing. They want you to do something else. Well, they want you to do that because that benefits them. That benefits them. The narratives that they're giving you, telling you, oh, that's a little questionable, or, you know, like that benefits them, because when you start to question yourself, then you can't think about the bigger vision for yourself, because you're trying to change what you're doing at this point. So your real prosperity begins when you start to find that balance and being grateful for what you do have, and at the same time acknowledging the things that you want, but not sacrificing so much time there. Not giving so much of your energy and your space and your heart to the things that you don't have, but actually sowing into the things that you do have, right? We talked about before how that can increase your creativity. And that's where the real prosperity begins. This card right here is number 1. Okay, notice there's a seed here, and the hands are covering the roots. Right? This tree, well, we can see it, but for the sake of like giving you guys a message, I'm just going to intuitively read this card. When I look at this card, it's almost like, and then this tree doesn't look full, like it looks drawn, it's kind of glowing, and it's super, super small. Like, what this is telling me is that this is the bigger vision. This is being imagined by the people. These people have their hands over the seed, over the ground, almost praying and intentionally sowing energy into what they're growing. They don't know that this is going to be a peach tree like this. It doesn't exist yet. It exists in the mind. It exists mentally. It exists in their meditations, and it exists on another realm. But in the realm where they have their hands on the ground like this, it doesn't exist. Not yet. But when you focus that energy into what you're growing, right? And not the fact that this doesn't exist. Not the fact that you want peaches so bad. I just want peaches so bad. Like, what the fuck? I've been doing this for 2 weeks. Well, a lot of trees don't even sprout until after a year. After a year, that's when you'll get your first boop. That's why I don't grow trees. I don't have patience like that. And then also, I don't even necessarily know if it's going to grow. I would hate to be sowing all of my energy and my time into something that I don't even know if it's going to grow. But also, I recognize that's my own scarcity mindset, because who says it's not going to grow? Who said you can't be so, like, who told you that? Whose narrative is that? So just rethinking within ourselves, like, whose narrative are we replaying in our minds? Is it our narrative? And really making sure, yep, heart chakra then popped up 3 times during this reading. Really making sure that the things that set your heart on fire are the things that you sow your energy into, because that's what's going to help solidify this confidence, the foundation of the confidence that you guys have been working so hard to sustain and to grow, right? Is going to bring these manifestations to pass faster than you think, right? You might be like me, thinking like, oh, I don't want to spend all my time hoping and wishing and praying and sowing and and I don't even know if it's gonna grow, especially if it's something that you never did before. I've planted tree seed, like lemon seeds, orange seeds before. I know that these are trees, and I've experienced waiting months, and before I even give it a chance, I'll throw it away and I'll plant something that I know will grow faster. So that, I think too, there's a message about instant gratification, and sometimes knowing that the things that provide you that instant gratification, number one, they don't last as long. They don't last as long. Not only the gratification for the thing, or the feelings, the chemical feelings that come from the, oh my God, like that doesn't last long, but also the thing itself usually doesn't last long. Those plants that give me that instant, they die off fast. They start flowering in a couple months. Next thing you know. And I've never collected seeds from anything yet. I have my fingers crossed on that one, but the things that take longer, the things that you have to pray and wait and really just like, you have to sow your energy, sow your love, sow your time into it. The things that take effort, those are the things that bring you the most stability in the long run. How long do lemon trees and orange trees, or trees in general, live? They live for 10s and 20s and 30s of years. In our garden on campus, actually, even not even just in the garden, all around campus, if you look at the little stickers or the attachment that they put on the trees, they'll say that this was a cutting from a tree that was gifted to us in 1970. So the tree is goddamn 57, 58, 59, 60 years old. I don't know. I'm not doing the math that fast, but you understand the things that take longer, more effort, more time, more energy, more sacrifice to a certain extent. Those are the things that are going to be more stable, more long lasting. So Spirit is asking you to eject and reject the rhetoric that you've been given in these new groups or in these new spaces. Also reject the feeling of wanting to just go back to these old spots and get that instant gratification so that you can feel better about being in this new spot that you don't like, right? Because that's not going to last. You left that for a reason. And think about the bigger vision, the bigger picture. You can leave these groups that you're presently in, just like you left those old groups. You can leave these groups. There's nobody that's making you stay. Now, you might think that to a certain extent you have to stay for, a certain amount of time to do something that you're trying to do, accomplish a goal. But Spirit is saying look for a loophole too. You don't always, it's never you're stuck. It's never you're stuck. It's never that. It's never that. We might feel that, but it's really never that. Not in real life. You can always move on. It might be difficult. It might be a little bit more work than you expected, but again, it's going to bring you more long-lasting results. You get to move away from something that feels uncomfortable and that is not for you, and moving towards something that is for you, or even if that spot isn't for you for an eternity, it's better than what you left. Every time you leave, you move up, you upgrade. And you know this. Spirit is saying you know this. I just saw another silver carpet. This one was like a darker gray. You know this. You know that every time you leave, you elevate. So why stay? Why submit? Why suffer in silence and try to act like everything is okay and try to move back to these old spots that you hated? Right? So make sure that you guys are paying attention to material harvest. Spirit saying wherever you are at right now, if you're staying there for material harvest, you're not going to receive the material harvest that you think you're going to receive in this spot. So it's more beneficial for you to move on. I don't always like giving messages that feel super stoic. I see another flock of birds flying away. I don't like to give messages that feel super stoic, or like, I always like to give encouragement, but to a certain extent. Sometimes we really do just have to be real about things. Spirit is saying there's no growth and there's no progress in staying somewhere where you feel stuck. Your body wouldn't feel like that for no reason. And honestly, a lot of us, we wait until the reasons start to pile up before we decide that it's time for us to get the fuck and do something else, right? Don't wait until you feel like you're about to have a mental breakdown. Don't wait until it starts affecting your body. Don't wait until you start having chronic headaches. Don't wait until your periods start to get so bad. Now all of a sudden your menstrual cycle is just so bad. Don't wait until that. Don't wait until you can't leave. You feel like you can't even leave the house. Don't wait until that. Do it now. And that doesn't mean that you have to you have to quit. That doesn't mean that you have to just straight up like quit and leave cold turkey with nowhere else to go. But that does mean that you should spend more time finding another place to be. And go ahead and find that upgrade. Because I promise you, whatever you're moving on to is going to be way better than not only where you are now, but for sure what you decided to revert back to. A white and a blue card. That's throat chakra, and it's giving me like crown chakra energy, because I see like a dove in my head. Even though the crown chakra is more closely associated with purple, it's giving me just like the energy of a clean slate. Go ahead and give yourself that clean slate. I'm gonna hop off of here, guys, because I have class. And I have no idea what time it is, but granted my class got canceled, so we're meeting online today. But I said, oh, that's perfect. I might as well go ahead and hop on and give my legends a message. Yeah, Spirit is saying be patient. The first couple things or the first couple places that you try might not work out for you. Like you might be looking for other jobs or something like that, or other organizations, and you might not like those places. Spirit is saying don't give up. Be patient. Don't let that deter you. And the sun is coming out. Don't let that deter you from your search, from moving on, from your upgrades, because I promise you, if you put that time in, if you put that work in, if you lay your hands over that seed and you pray over that seed, and you put your intentions and your words and your efforts and your life force energy, your essence into what you are growing, I promise you, you are gonna see a harvest. Okay, I love you guys. I really do. I love you guys. It's always good tapping in, and I will check back in with you guys a little bit later. Don't forget to like the video if it resonated with you. Subscribe to the channel so that you can come back and so that you can see when I do my sporadic lives. And just checking up on the page. Like the video, hype the video. I know that's a new thing. Let YouTube know that legend lives matter. Okay, and I'll catch you guys on the next live. Oh, the sun is really coming out now. All right, peace, guys. I love you. Legend.